Welcome to the TheAVlawyer's podcast. I'm your host, Arif Abrar, and I have with me
Lindsay Vergara.
So together, Ms. Vergara and I, we are the partners of Abrar and Vergara Law Firm. Our office is located in El Paso, but we serve all of Texas. Very soon, we are planning to start business in New Mexico and hopefully some other states as well. And this podcast, this is the episode 1. The reason for this podcast is to let ourselves introduced to the members of the community, let them know what we are about, what kind of law we practice, and give them ideas about ourselves. What are your thoughts, Lindsay?
Yeah, so our whole purpose right now is just to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and introduce ourselves.
And to begin with, Lindsay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was born and raised in El Paso, and then I did my undergrad and my law degree in San Antonio. I had a baby in San Antonio, and then we decided to come back home to get some help with that baby who's not such a baby anymore.
For me, I was born and raised in Bangladesh, and I grew up there. I finished my high school over there, and after that, my dad got a visa, and I ended up applying to different schools. And some were in Texas, and because some of my family members lived in Dallas-Fort Worth area. I got a scholarship at UT Arlington. I completed my bachelor's over there, and after that I also did my law school in Dallas as well at the SMU Law School. And Lindsay, you went to St. Mary's.
I did for both undergrad and my law degree.
Okay. And tell us about El Paso. What's it about El Paso that makes you call it home?
Besides being from here, born and raised, right, it's also just that family type of culture and community, right? So where in San Antonio was more like mom, dad, and child are a unit, right? Here in El Paso, it's also the grandparents. So it's been great because my child has gotten to have access to and spend time with grandparents on both sides. How about you? You're far from home.
I am. I'm very far from home. So I ended up moving to El Paso right after my law school graduation. I had taken my bar exam while I was in civil law school. I wanted to work for the DA's office, any DA's office actually, to get some trial experience. So at the end of the day, my target was to do personal injury work. And El Paso DA's office, they offered me a job, I think about 7 days after graduation. So I ended up taking it, moving out here. Then I got married in 2018, Christmas date, and my wife is here, and now I call El Paso home.
So talking about all of that, what type of cases do we take now? What do we take at the Abrar and Vergara Law Firm?
So I wish I could tell you that, okay, there was a specific niche that we're looking for. Okay, we're just particularly doing one type of cases. Our interest is about cases that gets us passionate. Okay, once a customer walks in through the door, they have a legal problem that we are passionate about. We're going to take that case. Okay. If we are not passionate about it, we are going to refer that person to somebody else, some other attorney who is passionate about their case, because that's just only fair to them. Currently, we are doing criminal defense work. We are also doing personal injury, civil contract dispute works as well, and some family law.
And family law, yeah. Yes. Medical malpractice, we have that also. So it literally has been anything that comes in where we see the client has been wronged in a manner that makes us angry, or it makes us want to set a precedent. And that's when we've said we'll take on the case.
And to veer off, and I'm going to come back to it, is that tell us a little bit about your legal background. What did you do after law school graduation or during even law school?
So I started off doing civil work, right? Because it was just what was for me. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed all of it. And so it was one of those things where I just thought civil is a great fit for me. And then somehow criminal came around and came knocking at my door, and I fell in love with it. And I started doing criminal work, and I did that for a while. Half of my career was with you as my trial partner. And after criminal work, I did some personal injury. And then now we've come back to our own law firm where we've been able to mesh, the entirety of my life together, which has been the civil and the criminal, which is a similar experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in the beginning, I had my passion was completely towards personal injury. I wanted to do civil work, and I was during law school. I was with a civil judge where I had seen this elderly individual who was being treated horribly by her own attorney and also by the insurance company's attorneys. And I was just I was just a first year law student, or I just finished first year. And I could feel in my gut that, okay, I can do a better job than these people, and this woman, this member of our community deserves better. So that's the journey I started, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this, but to be better at trial work, I had to get trials, right? And where you can get trials at the DA's office. So I took the bar exam while in law school. I started interviewing right after law school, and that's how I ended up in El Paso DA's office.
Yeah. And then you came full circle back, and now you're doing all of it.
Yep. Yep. So I did criminal work as prosecutor. We also practiced together in New Mexico. I did, yep.
You did defense work as well as civil defense.
Yeah. Right before we opened up our law firm, I did civil defense work actually in Dallas. I worked for a big law firm with over 200 attorneys, and that firm actually represented all the big auto manufacturers and other pharmaceutical companies, basically defending them in products liability type of suits. And one thing I was sure while I was working over there, the money was fantastic, okay, great money. But I realized, and it kind of brought me back to my roots too, is that this is not why I became a lawyer, okay? What drove me towards law school, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, like most immigrant families. And like many immigrant families, we were in gas station business, and my dad was actually charged with a criminal offense for selling alcohol to a minor. He was working one day, and then some TABC came up with some young individual, and he ended up selling beer to them. And that was my first interaction to the legal system in general. And even though we got a proper resolution of the case, it was difficult. It was very difficult to go through that, not knowing where to go, how to get your dad to the jail so he can get booked and then post bond and all that, right? So for me, it was always about representing that little guy. I come from a very humble background, simple country, simple people, and I could not relate to those big companies. I couldn't tell where they're from. It just seemed very foreign to me. I wasn't passionate about their cause. I couldn't see myself representing them and making money for them. That's just not who I am. What infuriates me when I see these corporations, these big companies, hurt the little guy, hurt the small people.
Take advantage of them, exploit them because of a cost-benefit analysis, right? At the end of the day, if the corporation can take shortcuts or, continue with their behavior, and it costs less to continue with this bad behavior, and pay out here and there for a client, then there is no repercussions. There is no lesson to be learned there.
Right. And I'll tell you this, like whenever you open up a TV or radio, the advertisement that you see the insurance companies, right? They have these little animals trying to be friendly. They sing about your family. They show that how they will stand by you when it's your worst time possible in your life. They have all these actors with like strong voice giving you the sense of security. Then you hear advertisement from the pharmaceutical companies, right? They're selling all these drugs. These are the people, they have the most amount of money. And they invest that money hiring lobbyists. A lot of this money is ended up in the pockets of the legislators who make the laws. And nobody cares about the consumer. Nobody cares about the small little guy who's being hurt by these people. And these companies, they target particular groups, and then they demolish them completely. For example, in Texas, like medical malpractice, right? That practice area has been demolished by these companies, these insurance companies, and the legislator too. There is caps on damages. There is only so much you can recover, even though your damages may have exceeded far more than what it is. Okay, so that's something when I wake up in the morning makes me feel like, okay, I want to go after these people. I want to help the little guy. What about you, Lindsay?
Absolutely, and it brings us to, the clients, right? The clients that come to our office who want to make a stand, who want to make a point, who say, maybe it's not all about the money, because I understand at this point that no amount of money is going to make me whole, or the amount of money that is available that hasn't been capped, right? What hasn't been capped is still not sufficient for my injuries and my damages. But I want to continue with this because I don't want to see this happen to someone else. I want people to know that this is not okay. I want people to be aware that companies or whatever business it may be is doing this, and they should be aware. They should have like a warning label.
Right. And I think the customer that I love the most is that somebody who walks in through the door and let us know, hey, I have been injured horribly, but it's not just about the money for me. I just don't want something like this happen to anybody else. I want this to stop. That's a person I want to go and fight for. Okay. Lindsay, kind of on the same topic is that what makes us different from others?
So many things, but to start off, it is definitely our communication and our accessibility, right? Because we live by this motto of relentless, reliable representation. And we offer you reliability through so many checkpoints. To start off, we're accessible all the time. All you have to do is ask, and we will call you back. We will email with you. We will have a video conference with you. That has never been an issue, right? The amount of time that we will take to explain things to a client. At the end of the day, we want our clients to be informed and make informed decisions. We've had clients who talk about how text messaging has changed the way law is done for them because they've never had an attorney who they can communicate with through text. And so they're able to continue about their work and their day. And then, of course, goes back to accessibility and communication is that we will stay after hours. We will come in before hours to meet with our clients because we've been in those situations where we have a job that will not allow you to leave during your work hours. And we want to offer that for our clients, right? Is that not part of everything else that we want to offer?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we definitely want our clients to know who we are, okay? I think that sets us apart from most other firms. The reason is that most lawyers, they play a character, right? They're wearing this fancy suit, right? They're gonna sit down with you, listen to you 15, 20 minutes, tell you, give you a price, pay me the money, and they'll take care of it, right? There is no open communication. There is no tailored representation. What do I mean by that tailored representation? Is to, okay, somebody comes in through the door with a legal problem, and we can basically fit that legal problem into some specific criteria, let's say like personal injury or auto accident, right? But that's not really the case. The case is about the people, the person who got injured. It's about them, their specific needs as to what they want and how they want the resolution. And obviously we have to sometimes come to a kind of in the middle point as to, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we are unable to do. But just to have that patience as to know what the client wants, what the customer wants, their particular needs, and addressing those, I think that's probably the most important part that we would like to give to our clients.
And I think that you're so correct in saying we don't play a part, right? We don't sit here and give you what they call a dog and pony show. We are ourselves. This is kind of what you get, and we're trying to see if we're a right fit for you. And part of that is the way we behave towards the different hearings that we have, right? Our different court hearings. And it's not about, for us, it's not about going in there and making a scene or screaming every time there is a hearing, but trying to work towards a resolution. And then if it comes to trial, then it's a whole different story. And then our trial, I don't want to say it's a trial persona, right? But it's definitely a different attitude, and you're in a different state of mind that then comes out fighting and swinging.
Absolutely. And so a lot of the attorneys, they will give you this idea of, okay, I'm this pit bull, right? Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, just hire me, I'm going to do all that. Okay. Me and Lindsay, we have done all sides of it. Okay. We have done criminal prosecution, we have done criminal defense, we have done civil plaintiff's work, and we have done civil defense work. Okay. We all know the truth about those pit bull attorneys. Okay. And we're not going to give that show. When it comes to trial, just as Lindsay said, we're going to give 110% of the fight. But prior to that, our target is to get you the best resolution possible. Okay, most cost-effective way towards you. That's the first goal: get you the best resolution. And if that doesn't work, if that doesn't come, then we're going to fight absolutely 100% without a doubt. Yeah. And Lindsay, just to go on a little bit about our motto, relentless, reliable representation. What does that mean to you?
It's the entire way that we have built our practice. It's the way we've built our practice around, right? So the relentless starts with our motions. It starts with our emails. It starts with us reviewing the evidence, and it's reviewing that evidence with our client as well as on our own, and then talking to our clients about it, right? So it's the engagement and the work starting from the beginning. And of course, the clients get to see all of this, right? Because they see the motions, they get to see the evidence, they get to see all of our emails that we sent out to the adverse party. And then it goes into the reliability, which is our communication. And it's being there for our client when our client needs us. Because at the end of the day, they didn't hire us for a little bit, they hired us for the entirety of the case. And so it's been just the way that we provide our services to them, and it's affected the way that we do everything from our case file reviews to our motions and summary judgments writings. How about for you?
And for me, I think the word relentless, that's a key, because when we are taking in somebody as a client, we want to have that relationship for many, many years. Okay, we would like to become friends if possible, and if that client has a legal problem in future, we want that person to come back to us and get that help. I want to be the first person they call when they're in trouble, when they've been injured. That's the type of relationship we would like to have. That it's relentless, it continues, it keeps going. And reliable. When you pick up the phone, you want to get in touch with your attorney, you want an explanation as to the status of the settlement or negotiation of your case, or I'm sitting in jail for 2 years, my attorney, I need to look at the evidence, but my attorney didn't come in and showed me anything. Those are the types of things that we don't want to do. We want our client to have that reliability, that, okay, if I call this person, call this firm, we're going to take care of you right away. We're going to let you know what's going on with your case. And that's how we would like to separate us from everybody else.
I agree.
And Lindsay, any closing remarks to the people who has patiently watched the whole thing and probably at the end, any closing remarks?
I think I'm super thankful that you made it through this with us, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the future episodes to come.
Yeah, same here, and we're gonna put out content as to whenever we see an issue that's happening in the United States, in El Paso, anywhere in Texas, that gets us passionate. We'll put up an episode and also try to educate about different legal issues that we're interested about. And yeah, in future, hope to talk to you all again. Thank you so much.
Have an amazing day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.